time. That's why I'm not gonna write it. All right, it's 7 o'clock. To start the Village of Davis Junction Administrative Board agenda board meeting, Tuesday, January 23rd. It's 7 o'clock. Roll call.
I have trustees Chris Samples,
Here.
John Calvert,
Here.
Jen Christensen,
Here.
Bill Muktese,
Here.
Nathan Moss,
Here.
Patrick Yarlam,
Here.
President Rick Gorman's absent, Treasurer Brenda Onabini.
Here.
I Clerk Sandy Mods, I'm here, Public Works Supervisor Brett Fergie,
Here.
and Engineer Matt Hanson.
Here.
And then for the record, Chris Samples is acting as President Pro Tem.
Sorry, I need to do that desperate. Otherwise, I'm not gonna remember what to say. I don't even know the other end. So. Sorry. thanks.
Nope, you're good.
Oh. Really? It starts off at this time? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ed,
Oh, you need to read the item.
Read the item.
oh, that's right. Okay.
Or ask me to, whichever.
That's all right. I'll read them. So on the consent agenda tonight, we have the December 19th, 2023 Administrative Board Minutes. Bills payable / warrant list dated January 23rd, 2024 for a total of $44,889.47. Outside meeting pay for elected officials for a total of $400. Resolution number 24-03, resolution approving and authorizing execution of the 2024 outdoor warning siren system annual maintenance contract with Fulton Siren Services. At this time, does any board member wish to pull an item from the consent agenda for further discussion?
I would. Number 3, outside meeting pay for elected officials.
All right. So we'll remove item 3, outside meetings for pay for elected officials to address afterwards.
Are you ready?
Well, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you have?
No, that's.
Yep, I think we're ready.
Okay, the following items that then which were submitted 1, 2, and 4.
Because we read them now before we do the removal, that memo's a little old. I no longer do
Alright.
that portion. So
Alright.
then if you are ready
Alright.
for Jen's motion.
All right, Jen. Or whoever.
I move to place agenda items 1, 2, and 4 inclusively as consent agenda items. Further, I move that all items be considered together as a consent agenda.
Second.
Jen has moved to include items 1, 2, and 4 on the consent agenda. And Nathan seconded.
Any discussion?
Roll call.
Mhm.
Roll call.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
John, Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes. Discussion?
I move to adopt items 1, 2, and 4 inclusively on the
All right,
consent
that's fine.
agenda. Whoops.
That's all right. Keep going.
There can't be discussion during.
Oh, I thought.
In a single group pursuant to the omnibus vote procedure specified in the Illinois Municipal Code.
Second.
All right. Jen moved to place the agenda items 1, 2, and 4 on the consent agenda.
Actually, I believe this motion is to approve.
Prove it.
Oh, to approve.
Yes, the first motion was to place them. The second item motion is to approve them.
All right, sounds good. And Nathan seconded. Roll call.
Yep, I have Bill,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
All right, so 7:04, items 1, 2, and 4 were passed on the consent agenda.
So we need a motion for the other one.
Hold on.
Sorry.
All right, so we do need a motion
Yeah.
for
I
approval.
make a motion to approve outside meeting pay for elected officials totaling $400.
Nathan made a motion to approve outside meetings per elected official. John seconded. Discussion.
I removed it, John. You have a second meeting with Josh, for text my gov referencing add-on costs. Would this not be a continuation of the first meeting?
It's on a different day. I was in.
It's on the same day, 1/17,
No,
1/17.
it's on a different day.
I may have, didn't, I put the date I turned them in on the slip, not the actual date of the meeting.
Yeah, it was the second day, like 4 days later, and it was follow up with the guy and another guy.
Okay,
I did separately. The Zoom meetings were 2 different days. I had a meeting with.
yeah, I just,
They
for the
weren't the same.
paperwork, it's exactly the same.
Yeah,
That was me just put, the day I turned them in was the
Yeah, I
7th.
know.
That was probably me not differentiating the day. But there was 2 separate meetings, 2 separate days.
So do we need that changed for approval then?
If you'd like to make a note for the record of when the second date was, that way it's clarified in the minutes.
I would like.
No, it was 2 days later. It was 2 days, so
okay.
whatever the original date was and the
Is it
second
on the-
date.
Yeah, no, but you have to put the date, that's the description of date of the outside meeting.
So are you saying he should amend this?
Well, he should,
Yeah,
like, fix that.
you should amend yours, John.
What was the date, Chris, you remember?
I think one of them looks like it's some scratched out 115 stuff in there.
You had a meeting.
Okay, then the one.
I wasn't there.
We just want to amend it to the 17th.
I don't know, the meeting was on your calendar. I should say that.
John.
Then
No, they weren't.
amend the one to the
They weren't, he might have said they were on the 17th, but they weren't on the 7th. They weren't on the
15th
same
and the
date.
17th, they were.
Looks like it says here on the 1/15/2024.
It does?
The one. the
Where?
One does.
Yeah, on this, well, yeah, if you read what.
Oh, I see it down
Cause
here.
there's 3 of them with 117 in there.
Yeah.
but-
you
But if
see
you look
down
at the
here,
description, it does say one.
Yeah,
it is
I-
115,
It says something,
20.
1.15, I'm not quite sure what 1.15 is, the clarification, there's 3 dates on there, I guess, with the 1.15, so it's just a very confusing.
Well,
And not clear what's going
the
on.
first meeting was on the 15th.
Yeah.
I was there with it, and then the guy wanted to follow up with us, and which we did for
On the
pricing. And to talk with the other more experienced person that he had on his team,
I-
which we
I
did
just-
2 days later, so.
Yeah.
I guess that was the 17th.
So you want it, we need, I always thought you wanted a name of requester, the date I turned it in. I thought that was some
If
conversation.
you look at the form, John, it asks for the date that you turn it in, the name of the requester, and then down here is description and date of the outside
That one's-
meeting.
Yeah, you're
And
like-
like here, you didn't put the date of the outside meeting with Mr. Morley either.
But the Zoom one is questioning, it does have the date.
Yeah, but it has like 3
Yeah,
dates, it has
there's
one,
one
and then
point-
next to your name, and then there's, I guess, the
Yeah.
1.15,
And then
I
you-
just.
So just amend that one to be the 15th.
Super.
You
confusing.
amend it. Just when we're after the meeting, just
I'll just rewrite it for Brenda, is that what we're looking?
Yes,
Okay.
so that we can clarify for the record that one is the 15th and one is the 17th.
Then I'm good with that.
I submit what you, right.
I think we should work on a new form, Brenda.
Or just pay attention to the one we have.
roll call.
Okay, you ready for approval on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for approval of number 3, John, Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Do you want to do Chad? first?
Yeah, let's do him first then. Sorry. We have a visitor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you for allowing me to jump ahead of the schedule a little bit. My name is Chad Horner and I am running for the office of Ogle County Coroner. Starting to have some signs out there, so I thought it'd be nice if you got a chance to get to know me a little bit. Along put a picture with the face and the name on those signs. I also like to start off with just sharing a little story about me, so you know kind of who I am. So many years ago, my father called me, asked for help getting a person into a church for a funeral. And 3 things I'd like to kind of know about that day. 1, I find value in being there to help people. 2, I'm probably not going to say no to help my dad. And 3, it was the first day off that I've had from work in a very long time. But without hesitation, I said, sure, we'll stop by.
Yeah, I got you.
I know.
That's the whole.
I'm gonna hold it like this. Like this. All right. Okay.
Sorry.
So no problem. So I said, sure, we'll zip by. So we zipped over to the church and everything went smooth for the family, for my dad, mission accomplished. But for the bigger picture of that day and more aligned with my wife's perspective is at the time of that detour to zip over and help out, we had just finished loading up our 3 young kids, 2 in car seats, our luggage, and we're getting ready to head to O'Hare to catch a plane. So you can imagine my eagerness to help people at that moment led to a very quiet ride to the airport. But that is who I am. All my life, I have put serving other people before myself. I'm a 6th generation funeral director. I'm the 3rd generation of my family to serve the people through Ogle County at the Ogle County Coroner's Office. So my grandfather was elected Ogle County Coroner. My dad and my uncle were also deputy coroners. Now, there's a saying that goes, if you want to go somewhere quickly, you go alone. Okay. But if you want to go far, you go as a group. from the very beginning of my plan to run for corner, I've had a committee of 7 people. And I've had people that stand with me as endorsements. And so how that kind of sits in this situation where the rubber meets the road is every Republican corner that neighbors Ogle County. So the Winnebago County corner, the DeKalb County corner, the Lee County corner, the Stevenson County corner, and the Carroll County corner. The people that truly know the importance and the role of the office of corner, they all are publicly endorsing me because they know what I bring for us to Ogle County at the coroner's office. This has long been my plan. It's been my goal. So I've worked hard for the last 5 years as a full-time deputy coroner just so that I could run for the office of coroner. I think that reflects true accountability. It's also helped me develop a lot of professional relationships in the meantime to establish that accountability. The Ogle County Sheriff, he is endorsing me and is backing me. The Ogle County State's Attorney also is endorsing me and backing me. I know that everybody gets all the flyers out there. I've got an opponent that owns a printing business, so you're going to get that. If you pulled Republican primaries, you're going to get that. I like to validate the fact that I am also Republican. People see different things. They wonder about that. Former Congressman Don Manzullo has endorsed me. John Cabello, state representative, has endorsed me. Andrew Chesney, state senator, has endorsed me. So I think that probably shows that when I walk, people see it, okay? Finally, I'll just kind of end with this because I'm so grateful that you let me step in here quickly and do this. But the best thing about my slogan, Horner for Corner, is there's no trademark, so you can say it as often as you want. Corner for Corner. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, I guess, anybody have any questions or concerns, you can always call. I'm an open book, but if you have any now, I'd be happy to address them. No? All right. Pizza smells good, but I had breakfast for dinner before I came. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a presentation by Bill. Sorry, do you want to?
No, I thought you
Okay.
said solar presentation.
It is.
I haven't gotten that far yet, but and I don't want to butcher his name. You wanna-
I don't know Bill's last name. I'm gonna
Bill.
let Bill say his own last name.
Okay, we'll just call it Bill. Him,
That
Bill.
works. My last name is Tremarky, but I appreciate consideration of not butchering my last name, so that's very much appreciated. Is it okay if I begin?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for having us in this meeting. We appreciate the time to get to know you and get to hear your feedback and get to tell you all a little bit about what we hope to do with you all. So just to start, my name is Bill Tremarky. I'm the Director of Project Development at AC Power. And I have with me Gina Wolfman, who's the project lead, the project development lead on the team. And I also have Ann Rowley, who is our engineer at TRC Companies, who's, I believe, Ann, you're local in Illinois, right?
Yep, we're about 2 blocks from the Sears Tower, so very, very Chicago based.
Nice. Sorry we couldn't be there in person today. I hope everybody is doing okay with all the snowfall. So yeah, hope you're all staying safe and all that. Well, like I said, we are AC Power. Just a little bit about us. We are a women-owned solar development company that helps landowners, municipalities, and site managers transform contaminated properties into revenue-generating solar projects. So our mission is to re-energize communities with solar, one brownfield at a time. And we work, primarily with brownfields and contaminated sites that don't have very many uses after they are closed. So AC Power was founded in 2016 by Annika Colston. We're a very small group, about 20 of us, and our headquarters are in New York City with remote offices through the Northeast and also into the Midwest. I myself am located in New Jersey and Gina is in Connecticut, but we all are travel anywhere we need to go. AC Power is dedicated to developing solar projects on landfills, brownfields, Superfund sites, inactive hazardous waste, former quarries, mines, and other previously disturbed sites. And we actually are developing several community solar projects in Illinois. And we've been awarded one already, which has been waitlisted with the ABP Community Solar Program. So we're very excited with that project so far. We also have several operational projects in New Jersey and New York, and others that are going into construction as well. And recently, we were awarded 3 projects into the recently adopted permanent community solar program in New Jersey, and we were also awarded projects in the first pilot year and the second year as well. So we're very familiar with how community solar works, who it impacts, and who joins into these programs. So we're very well versed with community solar. Just a little bit more. Our development pipeline consists of about 250 megawatts of landfill, mine, and quarry projects across the regions that I previously listed, and including 9 fully operational sites in New Jersey and New York. And like I mentioned, we work nationwide, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, and Colorado. Does anybody have any questions so far?
I think there mainly been the whispers in the room before the meeting were location, which I told you, Bill, is gonna be the biggest factor.
Yep. So Sandy, I had sent you the map with that has the parcel kind of highlighted. If you don't, are you able to pull that up? Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so a little bit about the parcel that we're proposing this project on. The address is 8900 Illinois 251 Davis Junction. Parcel ID 11-02-200-002. The owner is, it's a joint relationship between Republic Services and BFI Waste Systems. Site access we feel is very good. We're hoping to get access through existing access road via I-39 ALT, and it's zoned as industrial. And feel free to stop me along the way if anybody has any questions. Please.
I'm actually gonna interrupt you, Bill. So
Sure, of
most of you
course.
guys will know this is the north end of the landfill. That's the corner, that corner intersection there is Edson and 251. And then this is the first site that, the cell of the landfill that was closed initially. It's their first one that's been closed for quite some time now. Bill probably knows the logistics of it, but that's the location that he's aiming for, is on that closed landfill site, right?
That's correct. And I also have, after I'm done talking about this, I have a very preliminary layout that'll give you a better idea of exactly where the panels will be and what it'll look like. So we could look at that, kind of once we've got a feel for where the project is. I appreciate that. The current land use is, it's a solid waste facility, and it's a landfill that was closed and capped in 1996. The site was deemed as human exposure under control, groundwater migration under control, and ready for anticipated use, and the cleanup is complete. So, we don't have to worry about any future cleanup at this site. As far as surrounding land use, as you can see from this layout, we have the Orchard Hills landfill to the south and Winnebago landfill to the northeast. I was wondering, do you guys pronounce this Winnebago or Winnebago? Just curious.
It's
Okay.
Winnebago.
Just wanted to make sure. I'm probably not going to say it right, but yeah. So Winnebago landfill to the northeast of the project site. We have Gensler Gardens to the north across Edson Road, like you mentioned, Sandy. And then there's more farmland and the Orchard Hills landfill land to the east, to the west, and then to the east and west. So the proposed use that we're hoping for on this site is community solar through the ABP Illinois Shines program. And really, the permits that we need to apply, we're hoping to get some feedback and direction from you all, but we're thinking the local land use permits and reviews by Davis Junction, and then the IEPA post-closure use modification request. So that's that for permits. Does anybody have any questions before I keep rolling on here?
No, it's a good place to put it as far as I'm concerned. You're gonna put a solar. How big is it?
That's exactly what I was about to get to next. So perfect. The project parcel size is 150 acres and the estimated project footprint is around 25 acres. And when I show the design itself, it'll, kind of bring the picture a bit more clear of exactly where these panels will go and what it'll look like. So what we've done so far is, like I said, very preliminary. We've come up with an interconnection design, preliminary design, and submitted it to ComEd. We did that. I can't remember the exact date, but I know that we're expected to receive our first study feedback on May 1st. This site is a very kind of special site. We believe that solar is the highest and best use for the redevelopment on this site. This redevelopment that we're proposing does not have any impact on municipal services, and it provides tax benefits to the community. Through the ABP Community Solar Program, we're very fortunate, I feel, to be able to provide the opportunity of clean energy for anyone who wishes to opt in. And then I think the last thing, to be able to submit this project to Community Solar, what we believe we need is evidence of local land use permitting. And yeah, we'd very much appreciate guidance from you all and on the best path forward. So I guess we could open it up to talking about this parcel map, and then I'd love to show you all the design that we have as well. So if there's any questions on the parcel map, yeah, we'd love to answer those.
Anybody?
So who's the owner of the land again, or did I miss that?
It's BFI Waste Systems and Republic. I'm not sure exactly what Gina might be able to pitch in on the exact relationship.
Yeah, BFI is definitely an affiliate of Republic. They're not separate. They're separate entities, but within the same corporation.
I think the confusion comes because the remainder of the landfill is not owned by BFI, because that cell was closed, that just has not transferred from owner to owner like the remainder of the landfill has.
The size of the actual solar farm, you're gonna get into that coming up?
Correct.
5 megawatts.
Are you ready for that, Bill?
I am, as long as you all are.
Anybody else have any questions on the plot?
Who's the beneficiary as far as the solar output? No, I mean, does it help the customers in the village? What's the village's take on this?
So this is a community solar program. So this will be acting essentially as a power plant for the people in the town. If they choose, you could choose to opt in or not. And yeah, so it's going to benefit. There will be, tax benefits for the town, and then the option for the people in the town to have clean energy if they wish.
And it's at a discounted rate.
Yeah, it's at a discounted rate. That's right. Thank you, Gina.
Yeah, and a subscriber organization would manage the whole enrollment and subscription process.
This is gonna be the same, this is the same as the rest of the solar projects that have been brought before you in terms of the manner.
Same community solar.
Yes. Yes, they all have the same guidelines through the state.
Yeah, via the ComEd distribution network too, I think is kind of a clarifier there.
And then you'll do all the updating and everything else that's required by ComEd, I assume, correct?
Correct. So this is our preliminary design, and I stress preliminary because, through the process of developing these projects, we tend to work with, the town and gather feedback and change our designs as necessary. So there's a lot of working together and collaborating on building the best system that'll fit for this site. So like I said, this is preliminary, and it's going to be a 5 megawatt AC system. And yeah, it's going to sit right kind of in the middle of this field. So again, I believe that this is a special site because we've got on the main road, sorry, the name of that road, I-39 ALT, right where the site is.
It is alternate for I-39, but
alternate. Okay, I was wondering before the call, I knew that at my non-local status was gonna shine during
Yeah.
this call.
We
So,
just call it State Route 251.
okay.
So we just call
State
it
Route, State Route 251. There's a pretty substantial tree line here, which we think will mitigate the visual impact. And if it doesn't mitigate it all the way, you know, we're happy to
I did pull it
speak with
up.
you. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I did pull it up.
We'll do a study, and if anybody has any feedback or anything, you know, we can obviously work with you and do some landscaping if necessary to make that mitigation even
That
better.
might be the best place you could put one.
I
It's-
agree.
It's has a landfill on the back side of it. It has a tree line on one side. The other side is either
That's where they throw the
cornfield or soybean.
garbage cans, right? And the.
Yeah, and then there on the far side, on the top side, across from Gensler's, there's a space that's filled with stuff for the landfill.
Correct.
So, I mean, basically speaking, it's pretty isolated and
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think anybody can see it. It's,
Yeah, yeah.
it's an excellent place to put a solar panel farm.
I definitely agree. Maybe you all could answer this question, but this building up to the north, we had our team go out in person, but I was wondering what this building was.
That's a house, isn't it?
Oh, it's a house.
That's just storage and stuff. for the-
Storage. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. I just wanted
That's
to make
waste
sure.
management.
Yeah, waste management storage stuff, I think.
Yeah, they got a-
If I'm lined up correctly.
Yeah, and this preliminary design shows, you know, this project may be fenced off. I don't know if we've gotten that far yet on the design part,
Well,
but
One
that's
of the home that you guys are accustomed to seeing off of Edson Road with all the dumpsters, it's actually right here behind this white box up here. So what you guys are seeing right here is not what you guys think this is. You cannot see this from the roadway, so unless you know this is back here, you have no idea that this exists. But that home
Okay.
with all the dumpsters is right over here in this location.
Based on about the thing we
Is that-
can't see.
Is that the supposed power plant that they were gonna have?
I do believe that might be part of their conversion area,
All right.
but
Yeah.
I can't
Oh,
speak to that exactly.
It's,
'cause I'm
it
not-
should be owned by the landfill.
excellent. Just wanted to make sure we covered our bases there. Does anybody have any questions about I'm happy that Anne joined. I'm going to volunteer her for answering any questions about the technical side of the solar system. Sorry, Anne. If anybody has any questions,
All good.
I'm gonna so as you guys know, whenever I have somebody contact me about solar, I always recommend that we kind of do things slightly backwards and come to you guys first for your feedback on location and any major issues that you guys see right out the gate, so that when it gets kicked back and starts its process through planning and zoning, we already know whether or not, because if you guys were a flat out no, then there's no point in them starting. But if there's feedback or things that planning and zoning needs to be aware of, and they need to be aware of to start the process, that is why I've asked them to come to make sure you guys are okay with the location. And if there's anything particular you want to see when they start applying for this project.
and I just wanted to say, Sandy, we really appreciate that as well. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Size wise, how does this compare to the most recent one
Same size.
Same exact size?
Well, I don't know about acreage, but the megawatt.
Well,
The
I
acreage
mean,
seems bigger.
yeah,
But
To be clear, all the community scale, it can't be any larger than 4.99 or well,
so
5
this is
or
the largest we
under
go.
5. So most of them, I mean, depending on how you set up the rows and things, most of them are going to be around 25 acres as long as they're maxing out the wattage for the community scale solar.
Yeah, all of the ones that you guys have presented and approved have all been at the max wattage allowable.
Okay, that was the question, I guess.
So the area where you have the panels, is that already flat or that would be flattened out?
Either way, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
And then
no, we're not doing any grading for landfill sites. So which kind of makes it a little bit different from kind of the typical solar on like an agricultural farm. There's, we're not disturbing the capital. You can kind of see the preliminary racking detail in the top left corner. Those are ballasts so like the racking is setting on top of the landfill and not really disturbing any of the cover or anything. We choose areas that are flat or plateaus on landfills or other, brownfield sites so that we do have the best kind of grading already done and there's no concerns for, you know, extreme slopes or anything like that.
I was just asking, because if you're on Edson Road and you look towards where that used to be, you don't really even see it. So I'm taking, you're not taking, they'll be sitting on tops of those hills and berms then?
To the north there, John, so you see where those that green line is, let me see if I got my mouse.
When's Edson?
Right here, Edson's up here, you
Yeah.
can't even see it on this map, so that berm that you're talking about that you see from Edson is right here.
Oh, then you won't see that.
Yeah, you won't see it at all from Edson.
That's all compressed.
Yeah,
been
that's what I'm
25
saying.
years.
Well, it should be by now.
Yeah.
We understand that visibility is a big concern for a lot of folks, so we try and place our projects in accordance with what we feel will be best with the town. So we hope that this does that.
Well, I mean, I can go first. Flat out, I think it's a great use of a location that could be used for absolutely nothing else. So I'm very comfortable with that location. The issue with the other solar presentations was where they were putting it. You could see it from the road. And in my opinion, some of those pieces of land could have been used for some form of economic development. Whereas this, you're using a piece of land that really has no other use. So I'm more than comfortable with that. You're taking something that and doing something with it, I guess, so to speak. So I'm comfortable
That's
with
it.
that.
That's exactly what AC Power loves about working on landfills and previously disturbed lands.
So you said it sits on a baluster. So my assumption, or what I'm kind of guessing, is that some type of pad is put in place so it doesn't disturb the landfill. Because I mean, I'm assuming anchoring it or something, and you can't dig too deep into the landfill area. So I guess my curiosity is how's the balusters attached, or how is it sitting on top of this thing?
So you can't really see them because the detail is really small, but they're pretty substantial concrete blocks. So they just rest on top. There's not really any need to hammer them down or anything of that nature because I mean, it's giant concrete blocks, or sometimes they use like Gabion wiring with lots of like aggregate rocks in them as well, and pretty heavy rock material. But yeah, no, they're in there. They're staying where they're placed. They're not, I believe one of the ones we did recently was like 6 by 6, 6 by 6 or 6 inches by 6 feet long by 6 feet wide. So I mean, they're pretty substantial chunks of concrete.
And Anne will do
Oh, no,
calculations.
I'm not sure. Am I able to share, or I have a photo from another project if anyone would like to see it.
I don't know if I can do that, hold on.
Oh, I'm disabled. Okay, that's okay.
Hold on.
I mean, my screen is, I'm not able to
Yeah.
share.
I'll let- Try again.
Okay. I don't know if everyone can see that.
Nope.
Okay, wait, hang on, sorry.
We're a Microsoft Teams
one?
company, so
See
sorry.
that?
Yeah, we got it now.
Yeah, so the wiring, the blocks are, concrete. The mounting, the posts are set in them or bolted in, and then I think this is an inverter for one of them. So we would also have an equipment pad with some other electrical equipment, transformers, switchgear, other monitoring equipment that would be, located on the ground, also on a concrete pad that sits on the ground.
But yeah, it's a lot of concrete. While it's not bolted into the floor or into the landfill cover or anything like that, because we can't really disturb the cover, it's not moving.
Yeah.
It's heavy aggregate and concrete. So
Best location so far
Yes.
presented to us.
Yes. I mean,
Normally
it's a win for me.
I've turned down solar farms because I wanted to see what happened with the first one. But in this case, I'd be good with it. I think that it's in a place that it would disturb very few. And that if there was any other environmental issues, it's already sitting on a place that would have the most. So I have no issue with this if you want to move forward, and that's just me.
I concur with Chris, so.
Jen?
I think this is the best location that we've been proposed.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Patrick?
I guess the only question I have is, do you guys use local companies to do the work, or do you bring people from out of state in to do the work?
Yeah, I believe the program requires that local contractors be used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bill?
And is there a listing? I think there even might be a listing of approved vendors maintained by the state.
They're starting to, it's still just such a new program that I think, it's taking time to kind of vet out different things. But I mean, EPCs in general, whenever they construct, I mean, it's in their best interest to use local as much as possible too, because, local folks know what's happening. They're closer to their families, they're happier. I mean, it's just a better idea for everyone as long as it can be done and there's enough workforce for it.
Yeah, we believe in that as well. Just to add to Anne.
All right. Well, I think you've gotten the feedback that you were looking for.
Thank you so much. And for next step, Gina, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't know. Anne, do you have questions about who to reach, what the permits are? I know the zoning isn't clear, clear for solar. So I don't know if maybe we could have a little guidance on the steps. You said
I
site
think,
plan review, is there a special permit or who does
So
it go to? And yeah.
so I believe I might have already talked to Ann about this. I did send an email. Wasn't you? Somebody I emailed with?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So if you want to send me an email requesting the information, I'm happy to send it out to you with all of the forms. It just has to go before planning and zoning. It does take some time, I would say a couple of months, simply just because it's going to take that long for you to get us all the information, get it through our review period, and then get it before the planning and zoning. But if you want to shoot me an email, I am more than happy to send you back the information that you need.
Gina or Anne, do you have any other questions?
That was it for me. This is kind of next steps.
Does anyone on the board have any other questions about AC Power or this project or anything?
No.
Not right now.
Well, thank you again so much for allowing us to speak with you all tonight. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
That was it.
All right, we're up for the clerk then.
So I have in here discussion on moving the April 23rd, 2024 administrative board meeting. Both Brenda and I will be out of town at a conference that evening. So unless one of you would like to learn,
Not a
to come
chance.
sit over here.
No.
All right. So then there are 5 Tuesdays that month. So I believe Brenda's recommendation was to just push it back a week to the following Tuesday.
Which 16?
The
No,
following.
That would be the
Just
next.
making sure everybody's awake.
I would assume that the third.
The 30th.
Yeah,
Yes, it would be the 30th. So you'd have a meeting on the 9th and the 30th.
Matt would be the one with the busiest schedule.
Matt,
Does
could
that
you
work?
make the 30th work?
Sure I can. How far out? I'm good with that.
Okay, if everybody's okay with that, I'll put that on the consent agenda for formal approval at the
Good with
next meeting.
And thank you, Brenda and Sandy, for the learning what's new, and it makes a difference. So.
It does. Not on the agenda, I actually have 2 items. I have to ask first, who went to the landfill?
What?
One of our trustees went up to the landfill and was asking questions.
Was not me.
What does that mean?
Which landfill?
Ours.
Ours?
Just
Yeah,
you?
did you
Well,
go?
there are 2.
I'm asking because I don't know.
Okay.
That means
So-
I didn't go.
whoever it was, when you figured out that you stopped at the landfill and were asking questions, please come see me because they came and followed up with me.
Are we sure that was a Davis Junction trustee?
Yes, they were very clear that it was a Davis Junction
Oh,
trust.
Did they show
Did
any
they-
of our credentials when they showed up? Cause.
We have
We
credentials.
don't have- we don't.
I did
business
not
card.
get an opportunity
I gotta
to
go.
ask this person for more information, so I was left with that. And so I don't know who, and so I'm trying to figure out who went so that I could follow up with them.
It was,
So if none of you need following up, then we're great.
Are you sure? What's up?
was there an outside meeting turned in by any board member?
Yeah, they
Oh.
specifically said.
I mean, Chris is the only one that doesn't turn those in, so all the rest of us would have done an outside meeting for that, so.
Not necessarily, we do have trustees that don't always turn them in.
I did not go to the landfill, Nate.
Obviously, no.
Yeah.
Nor did I, I have no interest.
If you
You
remember,
know
come
when
see
this
me.
happened?
I didn't have the
So
opportunity
why
to
not?
ask. it.
Jen, did you go to the landfill?
I'm like, I haven't been around, so it can't be
Chris,
me.
did you go to the landfill?
Of course
Did Patrick, did you?
I
go?
did not go
Bill,
to.
did you go to landfill?
I've never had a tour yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no, we-
also what this was for,
Yeah.
so.
I've
but-
never been on property, so.
Out, come see me. And
Ah,
then
take the
the
easy.
other thing that I received a phone call on about, as you guys may remember, we do not have open liquor licenses. Our licenses are closed, so anybody interested in coming to Davis Junction and needing a liquor license has to come and seek one from the village board so that we can increase our village limits on liquor licenses and make one available for that person. That being said, I did get a request to see if the village board would be willing to add to make another liquor license available for the gas station, the BP.
I don't have a problem with that.
Don't they already have a liquor license?
They have never had a liquor license.
They don't sell beer there?
They have never.
Never.
Clearly, I don't.
I just want you to be aware that the person who called the ultimate, goal is video gaming. So as
Yes.
outside the scope of my duties, but because I realized a lot of you were not on the board during this time, there's actually a variance on that property to begin with because of the parking versus the amount of stalls that are
Mhm.
available. And then the reduction of the stalls because of the playground for the daycare that is there. So on the flip side is getting 6 machines potentially, and then now the gas station is asking for a liquor license and 6 machines. And so, I'd like you to think about that before you answer whether or not you want that.
Well, would there be any need on their part then to get a variation to do that?
To do what?
If we grant a liquor license, will they still need a variation? Does still have to come for a separate
No.
issue on the game?
Nope,
They would not.
nope. We do not have restrictions on our gaming in
They
that
wouldn't
manner.
have parking spots available.
Huh?
They wouldn't have parking spots available.
That's the concern.
So there would.
It's just something we have to think about.
So the variations for the.
John, yeah, you do need to talk into your
The
microphone.
variations for the whole property then?
It is. And well, it's actually particularly for the strip mall to allow one parking stall for every 200 square feet versus where it is now that would require more parking. But I'm sure some of you have been around back in the days when that place was hopping and you couldn't get a parking spot over there, and so everybody was parked up.
When they did-
Has that been an issue as of
50-50
recently? I don't recall it
We
being,
can't stop that.
I
from
know.
being an issue again.
right.
No, but they did close the dine-in and.
No,
It-
so.
it's
on the
new
flip
ownership
side,
now.
Currently in there, she
Yeah.
doesn't have as late hours, but she does have bands and other things
Oh.
on.
Yeah, the
occasion.
bands that come in to bring a little bit of a crowd that.
Yeah.
Well,
Wasn't she the one who came for a license, but then didn't?
No, she got her license.
No, yeah, she did.
Yep,
'cause-
yep.
Because father and sons wanted to keep their own
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
with their gaming.
so if Lori Lynn has her own, on the flip side has its own liquor license. They're only a class A. She does not sell to-go liquor. She only on premises alcohol.
So for the gas station, the parking stalls are only for the ones around it, like on the one end where the restrooms are, and then
Yes.
on the one side where they do have
Yes,
a few painted, okay.
yes.
and you're looking for a package license or a sit and drink license?
You have to have an open liquor license in that establishment in order to have.
That's a sit and drink.
The gaming.
Well, so they can either do a class A or an AB, but they cannot, they have to have an open.
Okay,
have
so do
gaming.
they have to have any other permits from the county, or does everything go through us?
Us in the state.
They don't have. a
Because
parking-
you would think that that building would have to have some type of
Just
inspection
do away with
or.
something to make.
For what?
They don't, do they even have 6 parking spots?
I'm just thinking of like
No, me too.
the inside of the building.
So if they wanted a Class AB does require that we have a county health department food license, but a Class A does not. And so they
Okay.
could get a Class A, serve wine and beer on premises and not have any other inspections needed. It would simply just be licensing between us and the
Okay, I'm
state.
just trying to figure out how, I'm trying to visualize how they would do that in that space.
Well, think
I
about
guess.
the money they make
Get
off
rid of all
gaming,
that
they
chip
can
area
do
pretty
away
much
with
and
the
put it
chip
somewhere
aisle and
else.
make more
Well,
money.
right, that's what
I
I'm saying.
mean-
I'm just sitting there thinking, how are they gonna
I
make
didn't talk to the
space?
people that are in the space at the moment, so I didn't ask any of those questions. The question
That's
simply
why I
was,
wanted to know
are
is
we
if
willing
they
to
had to have
open-
somebody come in there and look
are
at
we
the
willing to
space.
open up a liquor license? And then in reviewing that question, the thought then is, what about the parking?
Well, they have what's 3, I think, by the bathrooms, right?
3 or 4. Yeah.
So this is 6 additional or just total of 6?
This would be 6 machines in that building.
So they have to have
So that
6.
people could be sitting for 6 at a time.
So if they use the 3 there and then marked out some along the edge of outside of that where we kind of,
I don't.
we
know if
sell.
there's Spots out
That's what I was
there for.
Well, there's not, but if they
No,
utilize
I
that
don't think you
space,
can. I
Okay.
don't think that there's space for spots
Well,
out there.
where they park cars all the time for
Yeah,
sale.
yeah. But those aren't spots.
Or used to, so.
Well, my thoughts would be, I
Obviously.
don't have an issue with it. If you needed overflow parking, they could park at the junkyard. So if somebody really need to go gamble their
On
money
the-
away that much, they could.
Private
That's private property.
They would
It
have to
is
get a
right, and they have
special
to
use.
make an agreement with 3D.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
saying, I don't think the parking's gonna be the issue like it was when they did
It
the
is for
50,
me,
for the
and they'd have to
50/50
prove
raffle.
That they had enough parking space to accommodate their customers and 6 people to play their machines.
I
before.
think they would.
If they can come up with a parking, I don't.
They could take out a roll of gas
Has nothing
pumps
to
and
do
do
with
enough.
drinking. I could care less about that.
They're not encouraging that.
Right.
They're there for the game.
Right.
Gaming, right? Yeah. I mean-
It's, because I don't think.
Even though our
Well,
And most of the gas stations that don't have like food or something attached to it, generally, I know, not too often people are drinking them anyways. They just stop and gamble and then leave.
Yeah. She
Right.
said that typically their clientele inside gas stations of this manner are typically the gentleman getting the donut and the coffee and going to sit and game. While
The 20
Getting 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
they're
Some
not-
quiet dinging noises.
Yeah, they're not aiming for somebody to go and have a party there.
They should probably come with a plan before. we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
do anymore.
As long as the parking situation is rectified, I don't see any.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any
that's
need
for
to
me
deny
too.
it.
Can we ask them for more info?
Yes,
a
absolutely.
plan?
Absolutely. We
Okay.
can ask them for whatever
Just-
we would like, but if you have concerns about the
Cause
about
keep,
the parking and what that would mean when you give somebody additional on-premise open alcohol, then yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna stop denying potential more revenue for them. So, I mean, and that's all this is really. So.
Potentially more revenue for us.
cause you got parking along that fence line though, too.
That parking
No, it's
belongs to
not.
the strip
The-
mall and
those
counts
three
towards
spots
theirs,
are
not
always
towards the
empty.
city.
Isn't the strip mall the same owner?
No, well, yes and no.
He's leasing that, right?
So for parking purposes, those are actually deemed two separate businesses. So the strip mall contains all of the parking to the west of where Father and Sons used to be, going all that parking in front of it and all the parking along the fence on the east side. And then the gas station consists of the parking by the restroom on the east end. Those 6 or whatever stalls on the west end
By
that
the
they've
ice-
pulled in,
ice
and
machine
that's
and all
it.
But are both entities the same owner?
No,
Oh, they're
Well-
not anymore?
they're not.
Would the two work together? Would the two work together on the park? Oh, they
No,
would.
because the variance for the strip mall is not attached to the gas station. Those are been separated out back in 2004, so that you cannot treat the parking the same.
Show me where you're gonna park them then. I
They need to
guess.
come with a plan.
Okay.
So can we move on now?
Yep, I will let them know you guys would like a parking plan.
For the treasurer,
What?
We can take it.
It's my.
I just need to make a motion for this? Sure. Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 24-01, a resolution approving and authorizing execution of engagement letter from Sikich for independent auditing services.
Second.
Oh, dang. I made a motion to approve this resolution approving authorizing execution of the engagement letter with Sikich, and John seconded. Discussion?
So we want to continue to keep them for 3 more years?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not ideal, but it.
Well, I know, that's why I'm asking.
Usually we try to
Right.
like do every 3 to 5 years, but
Right.
right now, there's a shortage of,
People out there that can do it.
Municipal auditor.
municipal auditors and they're short of staff. And last fall, I called a couple of them and either one said no, and then I just didn't get return calls.
So they're okay with it, like staying.
They don't mind.
Well, I'm sure they don't.
There's nothing that says we have to switch.
Okay.
Oh,
I
there's not a
thought it was-
statute that states that we should change every 10
No,
years or
this is-
something
No,
like
but
that.
we'll change the next.
a good
time.
practice.
But
We
this
should
is,
change.
this has been changing throughout the years, and I went to my treasurer's conference in November. This was an issue with all the communities in the state of Illinois.
The fact they can't find the people to do.
Right,
it.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
So we
'cause
should
all
say somebody
businesses
we
like
have.
that,
at a
I
good
think
price.
so.
Yeah, cause they always said like every 3 years or.
Yeah,
Okay.
every 3 to 5, and hopefully we can change, after this 3 years is up, you know, if we start out early enough and put out a request for proposal, we can see what we get back, and again, if you don't get any responses back, then you're kind of stuck too. But this is, you know, they're quality auditors, and it's a reasonable price, so we should just extend, in my opinion, we should just extend until we have an option or an opportunity to find somebody who else can do it. It's good to change because, you know, you don't get tunnel
They
vision.
catch other things.
Yeah,
when you
right,
try.
so,
If there is.
but in
things.
this case, you know, the options are limited.
And we did look for, as you stated, for other options and just came up.
We even
With-
tried to go back to our previous auditor. and
Yeah,
they
which
said
we
they're
don't
not
really
taking
want to
us.
do because
Oh, they
they're
just don't like
really
us.
expensive.
Well,
They're not taking, they're not.
Right,
giving
right, taking
any-
new clients because they're full.
Even old new clients.
Oh.
No.
But everybody's
Well, that's
having a
okay.
labor shortage. It's
Is
not
it just
just,
because they have no employees to do it?
Well, we're auditors.
no.
Right.
well, those are employees, yeah. I mean, everybody's
All right,
having
sounds
somewhat of a labor shortage. I mean,
We're not.
everybody is.
You might be.
You know,
Where I work?
it's hard to get quality people to stay.
Well, that part's true. That
and
is true.
and that's kind of a labor shortage all the way around.
Just throw the dollars at them this day.
You know,
It's not always.
sometimes that doesn't work.
That's not true.
Sometimes some people
It
just
did
don't
for
wanna
me.
work, so.
But when
All right.
they do come do our audit, they do rotate people through, so there's.
Yeah, sure.
As long as Brenda and Sandy are comfortable and Chris, I'm comfortable with it.
I don't see where we have another option, so roll call.
Ethan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Okay,
That's all I have.
thanks, resolution 2401 passed at what, 7:52. Report from the village engineer.
All right, old activity this past month, Junction Way project. Dale met with John and Brett on the 17th to review the plans. After the discussion, they kind of want to take a look at possibly doing some geotechnical work, just to kind of verify some existing pavement aggregate and subbase thicknesses and stuff there. So Dale's working on getting a cost from TSC to do that. Once he has it, he'll forward it on to John and Brett. Junction Road sidewalk in front of the fire station. I guess prior to the snowfall, I guess Dale said the grass looked to be okay and stuff there, so they're looking at just going ahead and closing that project out instead of waiting until the spring, so. So final pay request will get processed on that fairly soon. The only other two, the rebuild downtown Main Street project. Still waiting, we'll do the phase 1 archaeological in the spring. Still working on the building drawings, and then the TSC soil borings did get completed. They're finalizing the report on that. And then we got the village letter and the letter from the fire department and our arguments back to the state for one last go with the 2 entrances. They gave us, like I said, last month, they gave us a kind of a little door to walk through, so we're gonna see if we can get through it and get the 2 entrances that we want, so. The Oslet grant, Dale and Aaron met with Nate and Nathan this month, kind of review all the potential projects that we initially looked at with the pricing. And then we followed up with Nate again on the 15th to take a look at projects they wanted to kind of proceed with, that kind of got us in the budget that we're looking for. And I just kind of listed all those there, the new north parking lot, south parking lot expansion. Some path work, throughout the park, the ADA concrete is for, I think Dale said was for a viewing area by the ball diamonds. Dog park, pickleball courts, small storage building, softball field, the press box, ADA fishing pier, and then replace, the park pathway lights. Dale's gonna get a engineering agreement put together for the work now, since we know what the scope is, but I kind of told him just, we want to keep this thing on schedule, so they're gonna keep working on getting the drawings and everything ready, so we can hopefully get this thing ready to advertise for bids here in March, so.
Brett, did you have anything to add on any of the projects? The junk, just in case anyone's wondering, you're talking about the core samplings we were gonna do for the, and whether we do that project this year or years from now, those core samplings are always gonna be worth. And I think one of the reasons Brett wanted to do that, and I certainly concur, is you get a more accurate project cost rather than get into that project and then find out it's gonna be more because, right? The things from the core samples,
Are you talking the Junction Way project?
yes.
Okay.
So, or whatever I said. So in case anybody was wondering, I know Bill might have been wondering, or,
Is that it for street?
well, it's not even me yet, but.
Well, I figured you were there. You might as well finish. You got anything else?
Brett, do you have anything else for streets? I do. Okay, good night, everybody.
Community development and the events committee?
I have nothing on the sesquicentennial budget. I haven't talked to Rick at all, so. I know we were gonna meet after the first of the year, but we haven't done that yet. I am starting to look at our our events for 2024. So I'll probably have stuff for our next meeting. I'll have stuff on the agenda to talk about. Otherwise, I don't have anything right now.
The finance committee doesn't have anything, do we? No. There you go. Ordinance committee, Bill.
Nope, no, I think.
Parks committee.
Sandy, you did receive this, you said, right? Okay. I'm making a motion for approval of the resolution number 24-02, a resolution approving a license agreement by and between the Village of Davis Junction and Stillman Valley Junior Tech.
I'll second it.
Need to make a motion to approve resolution number 2402, resolution approving the Village of Davis Junction, Stillman Valley Junior Tech. Oh, Bill, second discussion.
This is just to approve the use of the shed for another year until everything gets done. And they have a way to move everything out in a timely fashion so we can proceed with next year and removing all that stuff and cleaning up over there.
It wasn't limited to a year though, right?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
So the end of their season next year, I believe it's the end of October. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. That mean we're not gonna have.
So not quite a year, but
We don't know what well, it's just year to year.
well, it's just to finish up the season for them is what this was.
Until they dissolve. Or something. They didn't notice.
No, this is to remove the shed after everything was destroyed. The shed is not in great condition, so it was to remove everything from the shed and then the shed would be removed and not be replaced at this time. Is what this is kind of heading towards.
Okay. Roll call? No. we can just do all- no.
So on October 15th, 2024 is one of the termination dates.
Okay.
Or unless something occurs before then. I guess you can do it all in favor.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes at 7:58. And we already done streets and ditches, so we can go right to utilities.
Saving time, Chris, I like it. It's not to know.
It's on the metering the sewer usage, that would be metering the sewer we take in from Rolling Meadows. Brad or Sandy, want to elaborate on that more?
Brett?
No idea what you just said.
Me?
Don't we
No.
already meter the sewer usage on Rolling Meadows?
So we
We must.
meter the water that
And-
they use from their well somehow,
Oh, I see. I get it.
but there's been like more sewer than water situation is what I gathered from talking to Brett. So we're looking at a way of possibly putting in a sewer meter to meter the sewer that comes from Rolling Meadows.
So we could get an accurate amount of how much sewage is coming through.
Bill them for their infiltration. If they've got leaky sewers, then, you know, for customers, normal customers, you just bill people based off of their water usage and
Sure.
everything else with them. They do operate their own sewer system, and if it's leaking, then you could be taking.
So when they had the backup sludge and things like that, that stuff would be spilling into our system, right? Like into our waste is, I'm assuming potentially is what this is
Well,
gonna help meter.
What brought it?
Sorry,
about?
I'm.
Yeah, let's go back to the
What
beginning.
brought it about?
So this stems from a discussion, Sandy had pointed something out when it come to billing. I don't know the details on that. I don't remember, a bit of a brain fog last couple of weeks. If she wants to let you know what she brought up, that's up to her. So basically, yes, it's technically it's metering the sewer. It would take care, like Matt was saying, it would help us out with our potential I&I issues, infiltration and inflow, which we've always kind of suspected. I mean, every municipality has that, but we've always kind of suspected we may have some issues out there as well, but I can't get on site to inspect anything. They won't let me on there, so I don't know. But like I said, this is, and Matt can kind of go into detail if he chooses. This is kind of a bigger project. It's not something you just don't throw a meter in somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong, this would basically be a structure with a design flume to meter some type of level transducer. We'd have to run power to it. We'd have to find a place to actually put it because it's got to be on their sewer line. So it would take engineering, this would take a bit. It would not probably be the cheapest thing in the world, but depending on the price, Sandy might even be able to, figure some numbers as to what it would take, how long it would take to actually recoup that money. So
Do they have to allow us to do this?
so that's where the problem I obviously I can't get into too much on this because I don't know until we decide if we wanted to start engineering on it,
Well, I'd have
because
to
we're
know.
limited on where we can go with this structure.
Well, I'd want to know, can we do this before I started on anything?
We are absolutely allowed to meter our own lines, John.
Yes,
Correct me if I'm
but
wrong.
this would have to be within their line within our right of way.
Same
Is
as
what
if-
it would
Same
be.
as if it was a home.
So,
So we could.
It's within the utility easement, so you can do it, right?
So
yeah, I don't know what there is out there for utility easement, but it would have to lay within our right of way. So, yes,
So whatever structure we reenact would have to fit into the right of way.
yes, yes.
It's really the technology, you're using just the partial flume, it's basically the same type of flume and metering that you have on the F1 at the treatment plant, it's just gonna be much smaller. Generally, you can get them, you can put them in a concrete manhole and pour them in there, or they make them prefabbed and they come fiberglass and you can just drop them in and connect them up. The one thing I probably would need to take a look at is where their sewer lines actually connect into the village's system, because if I remember right, that far north
It's the
row of
structure right there.
mobile homes, are all of those, does that come in at a different point than the rest of the mobile home park? I guess I'm just
I
wondering.
think because they're connected to water, they have a different connection point there, but I think their sewer still comes in through the same one. This was my 2-second glance at a map.
I just want to make sure that, their sewer, their water connection point is one location,
Yeah.
but if hopefully their sewer connection point is just one location, because that's really the only way we'd be able to meter them effectively unless you're putting in multiple units. So I gotta refresh my mind. and
If
take
there's a
look at-
second point, then I have no idea where
Okay.
it is because it all dumps into that one structure.
Okay,
So
so
if
it's
there's
one
another
point-
one, I have no
yeah,
idea.
if it's a one point of connection, then it
Yep.
definitely can be done.
So are you talking tens of thousands of dollars or less?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean.
Are we losing that much money?
I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but these manholes that have these are not cheap.
No.
from what
no,
I've been told from other
No.
So what are we
sources. These are
losing
not,
per year? I'd have-
so I don't, yeah.
Can you ballpark it?
What are we estimating loss per year?
I don't know
Hold
the
on,
numbers
yeah.
there.
Oh, you know what, I haven't priced them out lately, but
Rough
I'm
order of
guessing,
magnitude.
I'm guessing it's gonna be, you know, by the time you get it installed, it's probably gonna be in the 15-20 range.
How much?
This sounds like
15
the
to 20.
potential,
That's it?
the potential to, if there is a,
You're thinking.
if
divide
the
this
meter
with
amount is
15 to
so
20,000.
different, this would be an opportunity for us to catch something that's going
not
on and
bad.
then fix a problem that's happening, right? Like, I mean.
We
and
wouldn't
that-
be able to fix it, we're not allowed
Like,
on the property.
Well, not fix it, but like, come up with a solution or have them fix it, obviously, because
I
if they're
feel that-
dumping sewer sludge or something.
No, 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 no,
No.
no.
Not that
They're not
problem.
dumping any.
No.
Okay, well, not dumping, but like
No, it's just-
leaking or whatever
this
that's
is
coming.
just- This is just billing them for groundwater infiltration, you know, and stuff. The one thing that the mobile home shouldn't have is, you know, like you know, in some communities, you get some pumps connected up to sanitary sewer lines, so you get a lot of excess water, not just infiltration, but you're actually getting, you know, from the customers, they get it connected into the sanitary sewer system. These with the mobile homes, you're not dealing with sump pumps, but you know, the sewer lines themselves, I don't know when when that mobile home park was built. You know, it probably,
70, 60?
yeah.
60s is what I was told when the
50,
pipes went in.
50.
And it's out in an area that's a wet area. We know it's a wet area and stuff out there, so you're probably getting some, you know, some infiltration when you do get heavy rains and groundwater tables up, you know, and stuff. The question is whether you wanna, you know, go through the process of, you know, basically billing them for water off the water meter and then billing them for sewer off of a sewer meter that's connected in, and then you're picking up all the water that they're
Putting in the
using,
sewer.
but you're also picking up all the groundwater that could be getting into your system,
So
Sewer system.
sewer system, yes.
Okay.
They're not putting anything in.
It's not overflow or anything, it's just
No, it's nothing like
runoff
that.
that's
no, yeah,
happening, okay.
yes,
If
correct.
you had an industrial customer that was discharging non-domestic waste, then you'd have not only a meter, but you'd probably have a sampling manhole there where you'd be doing potentially composite samples and charging them for
Contamination.
potentially higher strength waste, so.
And I guess my only other question, unless I missed it, is why do we feel there may be more sewer coming in than water?
Almost guarantee there is.
No, but what led us, again, I mean, what was there
So when you
discrepancy?
look at their billing, they're averaging about 2,000 to 3,000 gallons per home. The average in the village of Davis Junction is 6.
That was a good catch then, yeah. If we're-
Well, they are smaller, so it's.
How would
But
we
But
find
they're-
out?
People use the same amount of water.
Same amount of residents.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
say no.
go ahead.
How does Rolling Meadows build their mobile home users? How do they
No,
build them?
I assume it's just on the
Individually
rent,
operated.
it's part of the rent.
They got
If
meters.
they have meters.
They have
Oh, they
meters.
have meters, oh.
By
you're-
water.
Oh, okay, yep, you're right.
But we're only reading, correct me if I'm wrong, Sandy, we're only reading the single point at their community well still, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking about Rolling Meadows. How do they measure the usage of their mobile homes? when they
Meters.
build?
Meters.
Is it
Meters.
in the contract or a rental agreement? Or,
Individual meters, and we don't know the rest. That's between them and the property.
well, not if we're gonna try to.
No, we're not doing anything.
Okay, but we're trying to guesstimate if there's any profit in this for us.
No, no.
Or if we're losing any
You're
money.
losing it.
We want to know if we're processing more waste than we're getting paid for, that's all.
Correct, yeah.
And, you know, regular homes can do the same thing. They could have their sump pump discharge into the. So it could be people in Davis Junction are doing the same thing, and there's almost no way to monitor it.
So
It's a little different with them. Go ahead.
do you send, since each unit's got their own meter, do you send?
We only bill Rolling Meadows directly. Our billing goes directly to their property management based upon the amount of water that they pump.
Oh.
And then the amount of on the well, and then Foxglove is somehow different for water.
How does the,
Oh, we have a water meter on.
We have a meter at the
Foxglove,
end of-
So Foxglove just gets billed for water, because they're the only one on water. And then the entire park gets billed based upon the water pumping meter.
Our pumping meter as well.
It's their meter.
It's their meter.
Well, there could be your problem.
Well, we know what
We don't have a choice, John.
our usage is.
They're well.
We know the amount of water that our residents are using, correct?
Yes,
That's what
Okay,
she said.
well then, we should be able to figure out by our sewer.
Sandy's
if
already
they're- if
figured that
they're
out. Bill.
over, if they're overusing. Whatever the
Under-
difference is
we don't
between
meter
us
our
and
sewer,
them,
but we don't meter our sewer.
we don't know what, Sandy?
We don't meter our sewer.
We use it.
So are you monitoring individual customer? You're not, obviously, but are you monitoring what each mobile
Oh,
home's
no.
using?
No.
But there is a
No way to
meter
do
there.
that.
No, it's just a
No.
blanket.
Fox
As a
Club had
total.
its own water meter because Fox Club is on city.
Ah.
The rest of Rolling Meadows is off of community well meter.
Yeah, and so
Got
we
it.
use their
Just
community
a
well
big
meter to
picture
build
pumpage.
sewer.
Okay.
Yes.
Kind of like we use for each of our residents that are
Bob,
on
a little,
our community
So
water.
it's,
Yeah, very.
We
simple,
just, whatever they use is what we bill as a sewage. So they're the
Right.
same
then we do for the
regardless.
house.
If you're
It's the same
dumping
process.
a bucket into
But-
your toilet every day from somewhere else, it doesn't matter. We're just
It's-
billing you for what you pumped.
It's
or-
their meter on the
Clean it
well
up.
side, though, not
Sandy, excuse me
Yeah.
if you said this already, but for the ones that are on the village's water that you're metering,
Yeah,
how, and I don't know how many you have there, but if you average those, what their average usage is, how does that compare to the meter that you're metering at the well with the number of customers that are on that well? Is it equivalent or?
that's similar to what Chris just asked. I was looking it up.
I beat you there just by that much.
All right, good man.
Because if they're averaging 2 to 3, or if they're averaging 6, then you know you're probably losing
Yes.
quite a bit. You could actually.
You
know,
guys are sharp
You
tonight.
could do the math in the end run to figure out exactly how much you're losing, whether or not it'd be worth putting in the sewer meter.
Well,
Which
that's
is
what I'm
the
talking-
only way you would actually be able
Well, that or
to
you get
account
one
for
for
how
all
much
of it.
sewage is coming out of the complex.
Yeah.
Assuming that there's only 25 homes out there on Fox Club, I don't know exactly how many are out there. That's about maybe a little on the low side, but that's about how many homes I think are out there. That would put them at about 3,300 gallons,
Yeah.
which again is far below our average of 6.
Yeah, which means they're probably using less, right?
Or if we're losing
I mean, that's
it,
what that number suggests.
or we're losing it.
But we're metering that water, so we
Yes.
know that's
But
legitimate.
No, we are not metering. Their water is metered at a central point, I guess. So I guess it is our meter on their. it's
I guess
our meter.
are we on Fox Club or are we
Yeah,
talking?
Fox
community?
Club is metered.
Yeah,
our-
you've got one main meter metering that main.
Our
Let me
meter,
look.
Yes.
yeah.
So that's our meter there.
Now,
But
Correct.
I-
I was.
Well, let's do some more research and
I-
take this up at the next
I
meeting.
guess
What,
I-
Chris?
I don't know, well,
Okay.
we could talk about that.
so we're just getting a printout from their meter or what their usage is pump. How do we get the information from them on their usage?
Well, we read the meter.
We read,
Yeah,
no,
we-
like
we
not Fox
read
Club,
meters.
Yeah,
the
we
rest
read
of
their
them.
meter.
We
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 have
go
an
and actually read their
We
meter.
have an MXU on their meter.
Yes.
It's
We only
only
read 2
on their
meters
meter.
out there, one at Fox Club, one at their community well.
Okay, so we have something there that reads it for us.
It's no different than reading your house.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I was curious about. I
Yep.
didn't know if they were relaying information to
Nope.
us. Okay,
Same as reading your house.
okay.
We've
Well, how
got
would
to
they-
be able to come up though
How would
with the
they check that?
measurement from 2 points in 2 ways,
They're not.
correct?
Yeah, I mean, how
I'm
would they
sorry,
check-
Bill, I didn't catch that, my bad.
We know
None of
there's a
us do.
difference and the usage can be found out sooner or later. That's what I'm saying. Whether it comes from the well, what they bill their residents, and we've got Fox Club
Yes,
to
yes.
equate some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, we'll get to the bottom of it and find out, is it really,
Thank
what
you.
it is and see how we can convert it into money.
Some of it could
Revenue,
be seasonal
rather.
too, but,
I'm taking a long shot here. So the average on Fox Club is right around 3,300 to 3,500 based upon how many homes are sitting out there. But that puts the average down for the remainder of the park, assuming there's still 200 homes out there at less than 2,000.
Really? Wow, that's a lot.
yeah, so that's,
And I think
See,
that
yeah.
200 is on the low side of their home count.
So we can equate all that stuff mathematically and
If-
see what
if
we're
you could,
doing.
It's not too much trouble. If you could send me like on a monthly basis, what the billable volume was for both meters for 23. Let me just run some, I can count up mobile homes and get a rough idea how many, just kind of see where we're at. Cause I would suspect that the usage has gotta be pretty close. Whether off of both meters, if you average the number of units, the the gallons per month per unit should be about the same. Now, it doesn't surprise me that they could be less, cause I'm not sure in these mobile homes. They have dishwashers and,
Yeah.
and if they have, washing machines and stuff in these things.
Once, a lot of
They may-
people are
they may not be
bottling
doing-
water
They
to.
may not be doing things that,
Well, they're also not as
residential.
big as our average house, so.
Yes,
Might
yes.
not have as many people.
Yeah, so I expect it might be less than your average customer and residential customer and DJ. But I would suspect that when we take a look at the 2 meters and we average the usage per resident off the 2 meters, those should be pretty close. And if you're getting 3,300 on one and 2,000 on the other, something's not, to me, jiving there.
Yeah, the other thing that Fergie and I talked about when discussing this is it would allow us, if we continue reading the first meter and then also read the sewer meter, to know how much I&I is going into it by calculating the difference between the two. And then it would also start hurting Rolling Meadows in their pocketbook if we bill them off of their actual sewer as opposed to the other. And while we don't have a lot of leverage with them, this would allow us leverage to either fix their I&I issues or allow us to start inspecting or doing other things. So their pocketbook is where they speak, and this would hit them there.
But if you can calculate the loss, then we can
Yeah.
times that times whatever we
Well,
would charge them to know how
if-
much and how much it would take, how long it would take us to recoup the money. If we
Yep.
put one in.
Yep.
Well, if it's 1,000 gallons per house, that's 200,000 gallons a month. I mean, that adds up real. That's
Well-
fast, right? Like, I mean,
Well,
that's a,
We're making assumptions.
Yeah.
Let the other
Yeah.
do the calculation, but you're probably right.
I mean,
It might
that was a
even be
low
more.
number. I
It
was
might
thinking
even
at
be more.
1,000 per
Yeah.
house. I mean,
And
that's.
just also keep in the back of your head, John brought up a very good point too. And it's,
We were all surprised.
it's not always the case, but typically depending on the type of meter, I don't know, it's been years since I've been in that well building, but meters age, their turbine, they wear down. They typically, when they wear down, they favor the customer. So I'm not saying that's the problem, but I'm just saying it's a lot of little things that are possibly adding up to one big thing. So just keep that in the back of your head too. So I think John mentioned the age of the
think I
meter
did.
as well.
Thank you.
I do believe it was you, John. Yes, good job.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have Matt do some research on this and then we're gonna revisit this. Is this where we're leaving this now?
Yeah, we should do that. We
Would
should
you
find
like
out.
me to add that to his project?
I would.
Yes, please.
Would you add that to your project?
Yep.
It'd be well worth the money before we.
Would it be a lot of work to ballpark what one of those would cost?
Yeah, I'll get an actual cost per unit.
Yeah, I don't want to stick with like.
No, I mean,
50,000.
it's just-
It's gonna be more.
The sewer thing.
Yep, I will.
Okay, yeah. Cause, yeah.
Anything else for utilities, Matt?
Nope.
Economic development?
Nope.
Anybody?
We had that portion earlier.
We did?
That's-
Oh, yeah.
Well, solar.
Anything on unfinished business?
Oh. Nothing, never mind. That was a limp in my brain, sorry.
All right. Public comment?
Motion adjourned.
That makes a motion to adjourn, Patrick seconds. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. We're adjourned at 8:17.
Good.